And we are live. Welcome to the stream, guys. So, Troy Francis, joined by very special guest, good friend, Mr. Miguel Dollar Cost Crypto. How are you, sir?
Doing real good, brother. Doing real
Good
good,
stuff,
dude.
right?
Sorry. I think I had the other stream on the other the window, brother.
Happens. I hate it when that happens. I just like it's weird echo.
Right. But yeah, man, thank you for having me again, brother, dude. It's been real good, man. You were kind of telling me some of your adventures and everything like that. Shout out to
Yeah.
James Tusk.
Mm. Well, absolutely. Well, actually, and people, on come watching this who want to see James, I'm actually going to do a stream with him a little while on here as well after this. So, yeah, we're doing stuff. He's doing a lot more stuff on my channel, obviously, at the moment because he hasn't got a channel, which is kind of shit for him. But he's getting on with stuff. So it's just like, man. I don't know. I don't know what your perspective on this is really, but it does seem like. The powers that be, anybody who's putting out a sort of masculinity message, I mean, they kind of got a target on their head, haven't they, to some extent?
No, they definitely do. I mean, whether it's like teaching people about like how to control their money, whether it comes to like freeing them from the matrix, whether it's just talking real subjects about like how men and women really work. Any of these things that can empower a man is dangerous. I mean, it's that
Yeah.
class. It's that classic sort of like right before like right before like I think right before Russia went full communist and stuff, they were really cracking down. They were. I mean, as the Soviet Union was falling, I'm sorry, and was calling out, they were cracking down on any males. Males couldn't join. You couldn't have more than 3 or 4 guys together at any place outside of the workplace because they would suspect you guys were basically plotting to stop being communist. That's the level it's of like how
Really?
much it's getting to. Yeah, like yeah. At the end there, they were just everyone was snitching on everybody, and it was this whole thing where like um, it's not a group of women that starts a revolution. It's a group of men that say fuck
So,
this, we're gonna
so
change.
what's your take on the whole, like with Tate and all the rest of it? I mean, the whole Matrix narrative. The Matrix is out to suppress masculinity. I mean, would you say, in your view, is that like a valid thing to say, as opposed to just YouTube's got some terms and conditions, and sometimes they just randomly ban people. But do you think there's something more orchestrated about this?
Oh, dude, definitely. It just all of it. I mean, they want control, right? I mean, I'm not going to go as far as saying like they're going to do like like the big master plan is basically to lower the world's population down to 500 million people to make it more manageable. That's like
Well,
the original conspiracy of like everything, right? But
yeah,
I would, yeah, 100%. It's a plan. They want people like sheeple and stuff, and like they've already like. I mean, this is countrywide. Obviously, the United States is the person leading this in terms of like incarceration, but like all the violent men or any violent act or anything like that, these or a lot of these kind of more risky risk takers, they get put in jail. So we have a
yeah,
huge
yeah,
prison population. And this has slowly over time, I think, changed sort of like the genetic makeup of like the states and stuff like that. You're still gonna get like, of course, you're still gonna get like dumb kids and stuff like that, teenagers getting people pregnant, all that crazy stuff. But like over time, kind of locking people away and stuff like that of like the more dangerous people, you kind of breed more like docile humans. I mean, that's kind of what's going
yeah.
on. Like we're having like jails are do like especially jails to this, and this is country, and this is not just country specific to the United States. This is like a world across the world. It does have an effect over like genes,
Mm.
basically.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's a big business over there as well, isn't it? Because it's all
Oh,
private
big,
companies, and
the
so they're
richest
making
client
like,
the richest
mm,
client I ever worked for was he worked in private. He owned private prisons. It's
really,
crazy,
jeez,
like unlimited checkbook, bro. It was insane. Like, where we worked on this gigantic I mean, you couldn't imagine. I mean, it must have been like 6 city blocks of a property, something like that. I mean,
mm,
it was massive, yeah, huge property, and it was like, yeah, it was all private prison money.
wow, that's
Yeah.
yeah, it's mind blowing, isn't it? So there's an actual incentive as well, right, for them to lock people up.
Oh yeah,
But I
definitely. Just from construction contracts all the way down to just getting incentivized. I mean, it's slave
yeah,
labor on top of that as well, because they use these inmates to actually just perform tasks and they get paid for it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. You know, Pole got demonetized as well, don't you? Recently.
Wait, no, I did not know that. Whoa, really?
Yeah. So Pearl, yeah, it was like a couple of months ago. She just suddenly YouTube turned around and
All
switched
of
off
Pearl.
her main channel.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it got demonetized. So obviously she's still got the channel, but it's just that she's not getting monetization at the moment. I think you can reapply, but I mean, it's the same thing as what happened to Fresh and Fit. So it does seem like it's kind of, there is a pattern here, isn't there? I mean, it's not like some random thing.
No, definitely. I mean, they're coming after everybody. I mean, I would even say on my own channel, I've been throttled like crazy.
Do you think
It's
so?
like
Well,
it
I'm going
doesn't.
to ask. Yeah, I was going to ask you that because at first I thought, oh, you guys are kind of in the clear because you're talking about a different sort of genre. But on the other hand, I guess what you guys are talking about, financial freedom and being able to kind of escape the matrix financially, right? That is also right, potentially a contentious thing.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they like YouTube. It's the way YouTube works is during like a bull run. So what they do is when crypto's hot, they let the algorithm run, and crypto content doesn't get suppressed and it gets pushed out, and then and they turn on the advertisement again for it. And then when crypto gets bad, they over tighten and they make it more harder. They just lessen the amount of views you get. I've seen it happen. Like I would have like imagine like back in 2021, I would have 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'd have streams where I'd have like 1,000 people watching me
Right.
during
Yeah.
during those times. Like and like now, like I still get pretty good views. Like I'm almost like 25,000 views, like 25,000 subscribers, and I'm
Mm,
probably doing like 300 to 400 people live on live
yeah.
streams, but it's still like, and then, but it's still, if you with that many live viewers, you would think you would have like, maybe possibly 10,000 views, 5,000 views. And no, like they are sort of like hurting still even the analytics on the back end like that and stuff. And tons of people don't get notifications. This is why like me and Charlie have kind of created these chat groups and these systems outside the place in order to notify our guys that our streams are live so it doesn't affect our views really. And that's one thing that
Mm,
I'd probably recommend to a lot of people, like
yeah.
to post your links in your private groups and stuff to like, hey, you guys, I'm gonna go live pretty soon. Oh, okay. Because you own those outlets, they can't stop it from happening.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. It's kind of mad, and it's just, I mean, because YouTube is so monolithic. Because although obviously you've got Rumble and you've got these other platforms, but nothing is as big or as effective as YouTube. It's kind of like it's just a monopoly, isn't it? And it's a problem because they've got this stranglehold over what people are seeing and what people are kind of saying.
Yeah. It's just a whole lot of things. There's a whole lot of things they don't like, but what's happening now is like they're pushing back. I mean, like even the whole like, gender identity sort of politics stuff is starting to get pushed back on because the big corporations are starting to lose money. Disney's down billions of dollars. Anyone who launches a woke movie now is losing money. So it's getting to the point now the shareholders in a lot of these public companies are starting to go, hey, all right, I'm cool with all this inclusive stuff, but like enough, bros. Like I don't care for, like, I don't give a fuck. Just give them what they want because I care about one thing, and that's green money.
Right. So, oh, really? That's interesting. So, do you reckon that? So, there's a pushback against some of that woke stuff now. Then, you think, just for
Yeah, like
commercial reasons?
the buck stopping at the shareholders and the bottom line. A lot of these public companies are losing money with the woke agenda. They're starting. I mean,
Mm.
it was the real beginning of it. The real pushback was probably Bud Light. That was the first wake up call,
Yeah.
and then
Mm.
constant failure from Disney in terms of like Star Wars and a lot of these kind of failed ventures and stuff like that. She-Hulk and all this stuff. I did like She-Hulk, but like some of these shows and stuff have just not translated really well. And Disney, Disney has been killing it for years with Marvel, and now they're starting to lose money like crazy. They're starting to lose money to independents, the writer strikes. I mean, it's just go woke, go broke is a
Mm.
is a real thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, and this we can lead into talking a bit about the crypto market in a second,
Yeah,
but
of course.
also, of course, election season. YouTube is prioritizing channels where the political ad money will go, and the algo nerves everyone else. They aren't going to spread that revenue. Yeah, but I mean, interestingly, so of course, I saw that Trump won that
Yeah.
caucus in Iowa. So I mean, what does that mean? That's looking like he's probably going to be the nominated candidate, right? And then
Yeah,
obviously it looks like ahead of Biden. So what's your? I mean, is it, if you're a betting man, which I think you are, would you put your money on Trump for winning, or what's the
I
crack?
put I put my money on Trump 100%. I even got his money. I even got money in his NFTs. But shout out to the Trump NFT
You think he
collection.
should win, though? You think he's gonna get back in this time?
Yeah, it's just too apparent. It's just like too crazy. No, this thing in Iowa was like the last struggle of the Republican Party trying to fight against Trump being the nominee.
All
They
right.
basically got cucked pretty badly. I think he
Mm,
won like 54% of the vote. And then from there, everyone else was like 18 to like 5 or 2 or 3%. So it was so apparent that they got landslided. It wasn't even there wasn't even like a guy in the 30s. Like Vivek, which was the guy who was like 18%, he said like, "Hey, I'm out of the race now, and I nominate
yeah.
Donald Trump." So basically, the Republican sort of party basically said, "Yep, yeah, they got back in line." Basically, so
They got yeah.
they were testing the water to see if they could pick someone besides Trump, and they failed basically. And then so they're like, they pretty much just was like cucking basically for like the Republican Party, like get back in line, your Trump boys basically.
Yeah. What about this Vivek guy though? Because a lot of people seem to like him as well. Even though, okay, he didn't, he 18, but still, I mean, a lot of people seem to think he's quite an impressive guy. Do you reckon he's going to
Oh,
go places in the future?
I think he is. Like, I think he has a future. He's young enough. He's in his 30s and stuff like that. This guy, he understands crypto pretty decent to a decent level. Obviously, no politician really gets crypto to like a level enough to like actually teach it very well at a very high level. But he knows Bitcoin, he knows Ethereum, and he also knows like the industry is not a play. Like, you shouldn't be over regulating an industry, especially as it's brand new. When the tech industry was really booming or coming out of its own shell out of the 90s into the early 2000s, I mean, they allowed the biggest online retailers like eBay and Amazon not to pay sales tax, and they allowed them to actually grow into something gigantic. They did the same thing for Airbnb and Uber when
Yeah.
basically they were pretty much being an illegal a taxi service, and allowed them to kind of get past. They were kind of running their business very illegally, but they allowed it to happen because of progress, basically. And it's the same sort of thing with
Right.
like crypto. You kind of need to let these industries get into a certain size, and then you can add a little bit of legislation and the right taxations at those point. But like, if it's sort of like if you over taxate them and you put all these very restrictive sort of laws in place, the industries can't grow to any great size, and you can essentially give these industries over to foreign countries, and it becomes not just geopolitical, but like very bad economically. You need
So
you need
yeah,
to
so
take.
you need to give it
Go
a bit of
ahead. Sorry.
leeway. You need to give a bit of leeway first and let it sort of
Yeah, I
bed
mean,
in before you.
it's the same thing with the electric industry. Like if NASA didn't give that giant loan to Elon, SpaceX would have fell under, and so would have Tesla.
Mm,
So
mm,
I mean, basically, he was running both companies at redline speed, and he was running out of cash. And if he didn't get that cash infusion from NASA, he would have both companies would have folded. And
mm,
then two, if it wasn't for the Obama administration pushing Elon wouldn't be in the position he's in today, and we wouldn't have Tesla. Tesla is the leading electric car company on the planet, and now the
mm.
United States leads the world in EV in terms of like a company that's actually pushing out here actual models and stuff like that. Now there is like Porsche and Mercedes trying to kind of come up in that race, but still Tesla is king, and on top of that, we're now leading the world when it comes to like we're finally making rockets now. Rockets that can come down from space, come back down, re-land, can be reused and repurposed to like put cargo up there. And now even Amazon with Blue Origin is also doing the same sort of thing. So now we have player one and player two. So we have Pepsi and Coca-Cola when it comes to space
Mm,
flight and stuff. I mean, player three would be some player in I would imagine Russia, pretty much.
mm,
But
mm,
yeah,
mm.
but
No, man, it's
but the
great
United
stuff.
States
What about on the crypto thing? What about Trump? I'm guessing Trump would be relatively hands off as far as the crypto industry is concerned.
for the most part, I think he will be moderate. Like he's not like I think people are still going to be in for a rude awakening one day when he's president that he is going to allow some legislation to come down on crypto, but
Okay.
it's not going to
Yeah.
be as crazy if Biden got another shot at the presidency and the Democrats got in control again. He's
Okay.
probably
Yeah.
he likes Ethereum. He likes NFTs. So at the very least, he likes Ethereum and NFTs in the DeFi space enough to kind of let it go. But
Mm.
we're still probably going to get some sort of laws in place when it comes to stable coins, which are like dollar backed coins, basically.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good. Well, I say good stuff. I mean, so it's better. He will probably have a lighter touch, which I guess is, which is going to be better, right, overall. But so what is happening at the moment? Because we are obviously now gearing up for, well, I guess the bull run started. Are we gearing up for the
Yeah.
bull run? We've got the
So
Bitcoin halving coming up, right? So what's the scene on the ground at the moment?
So right now we're fully in the bull run right now. Our guys are in fucking stupid profit already now. We've been
Mm,
we're making shout out to John Fitch.
mm,
But our guys are making quite a lot of money. So pretty much what the big hallmark moment is basically when Bitcoin gets a halvening. So the Bitcoin halvening happens every 4 years, and typically about usually when the halvening happens 8 months later, 8 to 9 months later, like we're fully fledged in a bull run, and then within like 6 months or less of that, like the all-time high happens. So we're kind of in this
mm.
position where like if the halvening happens sometime in April or May of this year, then we're looking at like Bitcoin topping out sometime in early 25, middle of 2025. So pretty
Right.
good. So we're about to enter the stage where we're about to take off, and our guys, and a lot of shout out to you, Troy. You've been supporting us for a long time, teaching guys in the red pill as well about crypto. But a lot of the guys who join up from your side and stuff like that are in good profits as well, because we've been talking to guys about crypto since November of 2022 during the bottom. Like Bitcoin was $15,000, Ethereum was $800, and we're currently Bitcoin's at like $42,000. Ethereum's at $2,500. So people who were able to buy those prices are up just on the safest cryptos. They're up 3 times on their money, which is
Yeah.
pretty great. I mean, pretty great. Like, so you bought the two safest things and you're up 3 times on your money plus. And
Mm,
a lot of
mm.
the top cryptos like Pulse Chain or Pulse Chain Hex, AVAX, Solana, Phantom, all these coins are up basically 3 to 10 times on their money. On top of that, these are like the
Yeah.
safer assets. Now, I'm not talking about like a really degenerate brand new coin that nobody knows about. It has no track record. These are coins that are have very large communities and did very well last cycle, or at least come out during the bear market, and people are up pretty decently on them right now. And what's so crazy about it is that as this continues on, these coins are going to go to like really crazy prices. So we're like talking like Ethereum going above $8,000 to $12,000. We're talking Bitcoin possibly hitting like $160,000 per Bitcoin. We're talking about Solana hitting like $1,400. We're talking about AVAX hitting hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Phantom could possibly hit $10. We're talking crazy numbers where like it's life-changing money. And like just in 16 days, in 16 days, like the Hex ecosystem has tripled to quadrupled in price. So everyone's happy
Mm.
about that. But in the month of December, the rest of the crypto market went up about 3 to 4 times on their capital as well. Some coins went 10 times. So we kind of had this whole thing where like Ethereum and Bitcoin moved up a ton in October, November. Then in December, you had like the altcoin market go off like crazy in L1s, and then in January, you've had the Hex ecosystem just take off on top of that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a 3-stage rocket. We're just blasting off, and it's just started.
Yeah, man. So I mean, it's an exciting year for everybody, right? Really. I mean, this is like you're talking about life-changing money now. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, you run the course, which we're gonna be doing another stream quite
Yeah.
soon, because you're going to be reopening the crypto mindset course pretty soon. But I mean, you know, over the years that you've done that, you've seen so many people who, you know, their lives have changed, right, as a result of this stuff.
Definitely, you know, like I mean, so you know, I'm really happy to say like we've been running the courses since mid 2020, and we've been able to help about 14,000 people get into the crypto space. A majority of those are through the red pill, which I'm very happy to say that. So like one of the proudest things that me and Charlie have, like, you know, we've talked about all the time is that, you know, we've been able to educate the red pill space tremendously. The
Mm,
red pill space is extremely crypto centric now, or at least understands crypto to a very large extent compared to others. Like you go to any other place when it comes to political or like geopolitics, when it comes to you would even I mean, like outside before 2016, if you were looking at the dating space, they didn't know anything about crypto. They didn't really talk much about finance at all, really. And now,
yeah,
thanks to like people like Rich Cooper and, you know, Aaron Clary, you know, us and stuff like that, like and, you know, Fresh and Fit, like real estate, stocks, and crypto has really like come to a forefront. And now there's kind of like a red pill of finance within the red pill. So like our
yeah.
guys are becoming much more financially literate, which is really something that I'm really happy about.
Which is super, super important, isn't it? Because I mean, one of the things that you know, I talked to James Tusk about a lot is the fact that, you know, back in the day, I mean, you had red pill, but you also then you had the game, you know, the pickup artist kind of thing, and they were
Right.
sort of connected. I mean, I came up really more through the game thing, really, and then the red pill thing sort of appeared, and then they sort of came together because you're all talking about the same stuff, really. It's like, okay, how does intergender dynamics work? How do men and women relate? How do you know, get better with women and all that stuff? But one of the things I think that was overlooked in the early days was the financial side, because people thought, well, you can just be sitting in your mum's basement and then just go to the club a couple of times a weekend, come out with these magic lines, say these really cool things, and the girl's going to like you. But of course, that doesn't really fly anymore, does it? Because now everyone's
Yeah.
got Instagram. The girl's looking, you know, she's getting hit up by the dude on the yacht or whatever. And then, you know, yeah, you can impress her in the moment if you've got some cool lines, a bit of good riz and stuff. But if you don't have these other attributes to sort of back it up with, then you're kind of on a losing streak.
Yeah, the game's been financialized, and it's because this is something like you know, Sartain says quite a lot. Michael Sartain says quite a lot is that, you know, we're kind of in a global sexual marketplace now. Where you know,
Yeah.
Instagram is the largest like dating app. Like I didn't understand that really. I mean, before that, be like, because like I mean, I kind of didn't have an Insta. I had a Twitter and a little bit and just kind of YouTube, but I didn't like I hopped onto Instagram maybe 8 months ago, and then I
Mm.
really started to understand like what like he was talking about, and Rolo and all these guys were talking about. Instagram is like, I mean, basically even everything's a dating app effectively, but because everything is like these apps that are like that were more of like a 2D sort of 2D platforms have become more like a 3D 4D sort of whole thing, where like there's like prestige in a way, right, where like there's a way
Mm.
there's intersexual competition where like yeah, put questions in the chat, you guys. If you guys have any questions, we'll knock them down. But where like these Instagram has become like the number one place where like I thought it was kind of stupid, but not like, but looking at it now, it's probably one of the best places to make business happen, as well as be able to source not just interviews, but
Yeah.
like possible mates. And the big thing is, especially for like content creators, is like, you know, you're very big on Instagram. You can get some people that are way out of your zone to come do interviews with you because you have a social presence on there, versus like
Mm. Mm.
you're big on Reddit. What does that mean? It means nothing really. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
Or
Instagram's
Twitter.
yeah. I mean, Instagram's a good platform. I mean, it's taken me actually ages to really grow mine, and mine's still very small, really, in the big scheme of things. But it seems to have picked up a bit. I think, obviously, like anything, it's like consistency and just trying to put out, you know, valuable content. I mean, but I suppose the issue with Instagram, like a lot of these things, well, except X, is that it is a bit woke. I mean, you've got to be a bit careful
Yes.
about what you're posting on there.
I will say this though, they like, because Instagram is about flash. It's about, you know, looking good in the suit, you know,
Yeah.
having women and doing all this stuff. It's more about like peacocking and showing off a little bit and kind of being a little more expressive. Instagram is sort of in a way kind of more, it's probably the most pro red pill sort of space, because this is where Andrew Tate does really well on a lot of the content. Some of the red pill influencers does really well, and it's because that's the formula. What even the blue pill guys, or the guys with an agenda, or some of these plants, basically these industry plants, they still use the basic formula of like, show myself like I'm super successful, show myself in sports car, show hot woman, success.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is a formula,
It is a formula, and it's kind of funny actually. With just to deviate a little bit for a second, because I was always I've started to come around to really believing the thing now that money does. I think that either the dating market has become a lot more transactional, or I'm just coming around to understand. Okay, money actually does make a big difference, and what I mean by that is I never thought money wasn't important, right? But I sort of thought, because of the old school game thinking, that you could kind of circumvent it, because if you were not broke, but you weren't particularly, financially successful, but if you had some good rears, you could get the girl. And I think that's still true,
It's
but
so
at the
true.
same time, you think it's true?
There's still alpha fucks at the top end. Like, they're
Yeah,
always like,
yeah,
if you're a Chad, you're gonna be able, but like, it's that classic thing where like you could be a Chad, but like you're just so, I mean, unless you're Chad, like there is always like an exception to the rule, but like you could be a Chad, but then you're such like a boring, or like, I mean,
mm,
eventually she'll get tired of your shit. Just like a high level
yeah.
guy could get, like, it doesn't matter how hot the chick is, like there's some dude that's tired of fucking her. There's
No, of
that
course,
class.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think there are some women where there is a bit of a glass ceiling, where it's like, with the best will in the world, it's not necessarily they're these like super cynical gold diggers, but they just do
Mhm.
want a certain kind of level of experience. Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit like,
Yeah.
and I think probably Instagram has fueled that as well, because they're seeing all these super successful dudes on there having this cool lifestyle. Some of these guys are sliding into their DMs, and then they're a bit like, okay, this guy's working in Publix. Do I really want to deal with this guy when actually there's
Right.
all these out there? You know what I'm saying?
No, I know exactly what you're saying. It's a globalized marketplace, and it's messed it up, because like a girl would compare you at most to, like, how do I say it? Like, this has actually even happened in the finance space, and I'll tell you how in a bit. But like, beforehand, right? Like, a girl would only like rank you based off of the other guys in a local area. So she might only compare
Yeah.
you to like 100 guys tops. So you would just, I mean, so it wouldn't be, I mean, and it still would, like, if you're a fucking ugly schleb, if you're really ugly schleb, like, you're pretty fucked anyway. But
Mm,
um, for the most part, you would have a much better life and stuff. And on top of that, she would only compare her life compared to her friends, and her friends' lives
yeah.
might only may not be that much better than yours and stuff like that, or slightly
Mm,
better and stuff. So it was this whole comparison is the stealer of joy, right? And
yeah.
everyone's kind of like at the same level socioeconomically, and then what happens is, you finally get to see how kings and queens, and not really kings and queens, but really how like nobles are very high, like lifestyles that you wouldn't really see, and then that's poisoned them and stuff. And it kind of started, the real starting of this was probably with like, I would say reality TV was really
Mm,
the
yeah.
first sort of thing that we saw it, like, where like it kind of like branched over a little bit. And then after that, it was like, I'd say really Facebook was the first one, but but I truly give the crown to Instagram. Instagram is really the culprit of this. And because even with Facebook, you got people were mostly just following friends and family and kind of people in their local
Mhm.
areas. It was kind of like you would follow a famous person, but it wasn't as crazy still. And then
Yeah.
Instagram just took it to the next level.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now you got people who've become sort of Instagram famous, and they're regular people, but except they're living this lifestyle, or they appear to be living this fucking cool lifestyle, and which is aspirational. And then they get a bunch of followers and all that shit. But I mean, in terms of actually making some money, in terms of like you say, life changing wealth, investment has got to be the key, right? And
Yeah.
obviously, crypto is it's still the way that people are able to make probably the most profit, right, from an investment in a shorter space of time. I think that'd be
Yeah.
right to say.
I think that's 100% right to say, but it doesn't come without risk. So it is there's something we say: big up equals big down. So to have an asset
Mm.
class that is able to move dramatically upwards, you must also be able to cope with the fact that it can crash down significantly as well. So crypto is extremely cyclical. So like something that I say all the time on my channel is that, you know, when crypto's hot, I'm a 10 out of 10 girl. When crypto's down, I'm an adjustable 3. You
Yeah,
know,
good stuff.
I'm getting hotter by the second right now. You know, like I'm now maybe I'm a 6 out of 10 now, and I'm just growing as crypto gets hotter and hotter. But
Mm.
you know, that's kind of how it happens. It's crypto's very cyclical. You basically have 2 good years, you have 2 bad years, is how it is. But the real thing is but that's it for people who kind of know crypto pretty well. But realistically, you have one bad year, you have one like kind of like a good year to buy, another year where like prices are starting to really go up, and then you really have like you have a year to like 6 months where crypto, anything you do, you won't lose money. You just make money on anything that you buy,
Right,
basically.
right, right,
And that's when
right. And
people start getting in, and that's why they get hurt. Is because like our guys have been buying since December of 2022, all of 23, and we're now in 24, and we're still buying right now. Like there's still great things to buy for all of 2024, but in 2025, um it goes from like the game changes from investment to sort of like you're kind of playing like, let me just jump on this coin real quick for 3 weeks and jump out, or you're playing more hot potato in 2025.
mm,
Versus
yeah,
now, I
yeah,
can invest, I can buy a coin and leave it there for a year, 6 months, I can
yeah.
invest versus like a year from now, I'm just like, ooh, new coin. Okay, I'll throw 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 into this coin. All right, cool. I triple my money. I take 100,000 out, put it into another coin. You know, it's a lot of that Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So 2024 still, you know, you can still make some moves now, but next year it's going to be, it's at the peak next year, right? So it's then going to be much more shorter term investments if you do anything, right?
Yeah. But the big thing that happened that's like why we're going to go up so significantly is we finally have the Bitcoin ETF, right? And this is a spot
Right.
ETF. We finally have a investment vehicle where retirement funds and retirees, 401ks and stuff like that can start investing into crypto, into Bitcoin. We're soon enough going to have an Ethereum version, probably a Solana, possibly XRP Litecoin. This cycle. So I'd say in the next year and a half, we're probably going to have like 5 to 6 crypto coin ETFs, and then that'll be about it. And then in the bear market, we'll have more over time. But typically, we're probably going to have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin,
Mm.
Solana, and then possibly XRP being the fifth and stuff in terms of ETFs. But the reason why this is so big is because, you know, all the capital on the planet is in these 401ks and these retirement funds in BlackRock. And BlackRock is like the biggest financial entity on the planet, and they're actively trying to tokenize all of the equities into cryptos over time. So all the stuff all the shit talking me and Charlie have been doing for like since 2020, one of the earliest things I was saying is we're going to have one day all stocks are going to be tokenized. That means you'll be
Right.
able to
Yeah.
trade. You'll be able to trade your stock 365 anytime, and then like you can literally just wake up in the middle of the night and say, "Oh, okay, let me just sell all my Apple stock, or let me just sell this," and you could do it anytime instead of working on bank hours. It goes 365, 7 days a week. 24 hours a
Mm,
day, no
mm,
vacations, it never turns off. And that's going to happen not just for stocks, it's going to happen for real estate as well. Real estate's going to be fractionalized. You'll be able to buy I'll be able to buy imagine I have $1 million property. $1 million property will be broken into 1,000 or 10,000 pieces, and I'll be able to buy $100 or $1,000 of a property. And there'll be a holding company that will have a person to take care of the property and make sure it's rented out. Those people will be paid first, and then from there, the leftover profits will be paid through stable coins. So I could hold $1,000 piece of property, and then I can get paid $10 every month on that $1,000 property. So what you could do is like
mm.
I could have a $20,000-$30,000 portfolio and own a piece of 10 different real estate properties and kind of diversify my exposure through different properties, and not just get price appreciation of the properties, but just have like a passive income in stables and stuff. That hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. Basically, everything's going to be tokenized eventually.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was wondering with the property thing, because obviously, you know, they require maintenance and they require all that shit, but that gets sorted out, and then you're just sitting there, and it's basically just on your phone, and you're like, oh, nice, I've got some more money from this property, and the rest of it's been taken care of, which is a good way actually, because you know, one of the things with real estate, investing in real estate, is people, yeah, it's great, and it generally always goes up over time, but it's also a bit of a pain in the ass, because you know, you got the tenants, and then something breaks, and then, you know, the roof breaks or some shit like this, and there's all this shit to deal with, isn't there? So if when it becomes tokenized, you could just kind of have it, but it's more of a passive investment. I think that'll be a very interesting thing, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, these fractionalized, if that's the way I would do it personally, but like the way I'm saying it is basically the way to protect the investor and the property. It kind of covers all your bases. The only downside to that is basically you're investing into in real estate property where like your ROI is going to be a little lower, because basically you're going to overpay in order to make sure that the property is getting maintained and is also being properly taken care of. So that's going to the holding company is going to have a sort of like you're paying for someone to take care of the property and stuff like that. So that comes out of your bottom line and stuff like that.
Yeah, so. And I would imagine those guys are gonna, you know, they're gonna obviously try and charge, you know, quite top dollar for doing that. So they're, you know. Yeah.
But it kind of is what it is, because it gives you and there's going to be the one negatives with it is it in the beginning there's not as much tax incentives as it is like if you buy a house you can 1099 exchange, but I think eventually over the next 20-30 years these fractionalized real estate pieces are going to have the same sort of effect. Like if I sell one, I have a year to get into another one, and I think that's what's going to be really cool later on, is that this money will flow around and everything like that. But you know, buying real estate is never going to die in terms of like if I just want to buy my house 30-year mortgage, that's not going to die. But a lot of investment properties, that might be a way where like how investment properties can have a big boom again in the future. But this is still like this is still pretty this is going to be really big in 2030, in the 2030s, not the 2020s.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so there's a couple of questions here. So actually it's not that one, sorry. Well, this guy's slagging us off, but this guy is saying, got any alts you're taking a look at for this next bull run?
Yeah, I'm looking at the gaming sector is going to be huge. The crypto gaming sector is a place that I'm investing in, putting money into. There's one called Illuvium, ILV. It's about roughly, it's like $100 per coin. This coin's gone up to like $1,800 in the past. It's basically pretty much the top game in all of crypto right now, and they're launching their full game this year in the summer. So. That's a coin that I've been heavily accumulating. I've been buying it since the lows at $30, and you know I'm up 3 times on that coin right now. But in the summer, once the game launches, we're gonna see how fly it can high. I think it can go, you know, back to like 1,800 to multiple thousands of dollars per token. So that's a token I'm looking at. Gala is another token. This used to be Zynga Games. This is kind of like just to bring back people to Facebook. You know, the guys who own Farmville, Mafia Wars, all those guys. That company basically made a crypto company, and then they're making all these mobile kind of video games for crypto and everything like that. That coin's like currently like 3 cents. It previously went up to 81 cents. So this coin could possibly go up to like $3, $2, $1. So it's just something like I'm willing to throw a little bit of capital in that one, because why not? It has a track record, and it could possibly go back up to like $1 range, so that you can bag up like, you know, 50 times on your money if it works out and stuff like that. But you know, these plays are not like, especially if you're brand new in crypto, like you're putting in like a 5% position of your portfolio, you know, 10% at most if you really like it. You're still majority holding Ethereum and Bitcoin. You know, especially if you don't know what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
Another one is called Shrapnel. Shrapnel's another one. This is gonna be the top shooting, kind of like imagine Call of Duty type game in crypto. Shrapnel's still pretty cheap right now, but that's one where I would look into. Those are the top 3 coins that I'm looking at right now for the gaming sector. And outside of that, I'd probably look at Pulse Chain, Hex, and the Pulse Chain ecosystem. It's just an ecosystem I'm very deep into. And one that's a little more accessible, I would say, was probably Phantom. Phantom's another one. This is a coin that's like in the 40-cent range. It's previously been at $3.60, and I believe it's going to hit about $10. They have it's a coin that has quite a lot of money in terms of its like bankroll. They have like $600 million plus in terms of like capital in order to kind of grow the ecosystem out. And this is money that they made during the last bull run and stuff. So the coin went from like 3 cents to like $3. So it basically you made 100 times on your money in 2021 if you invested in 2020. Yeah. So I think it can do a run, but not to that level. But obviously, like I think it's very possible to make, you know, a 20 to 80x on your capital is all within the range. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
No, good stuff. Right. There's, I mean, loads of great tips there, obviously, for guys. So this is an interesting one. So Khan says, let's say I do get life-changing money this bull run. What are 3 things a guy can throw money at to upgrade his dating, to help his dating life? I mean,
oh, that's a good question.
I don't know. I'll be interested to know your thoughts. I mean, personally, I wouldn't necessarily look at it in those terms, really. I personally, I don't think. I mean, as much as I'm, I'm a dating coach, teaching guys dating, blah blah blah. I don't think in my view, I don't think the right way to view this is, oh, I've made a load of money, so now I'm going to throw it on things to impress girls. I think, the more sensible advice would be to make some decent investments with it, right? I mean, if you blow it all on a load of, clothes and fancy cars and stuff, that's probably not the right thing to do. So I think it's sort of like, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I think you would want to think carefully. If you've made a ton of money, you want to think, well, do I want to invest in some real estate? Do I want to put it back into some other coins? Do I want to put it in some other investments? All of that kind of shit. And obviously, and then maybe a portion of it, you're like, okay, right, I've got some extra cash now, so I can have a bit of fun. Maybe buy some nice, a couple of nice suits, and you can do some cool things with some girls and stuff. But I don't think really. This is like self-improvement, isn't it? Ultimately, we want to be doing it for ourselves first, and then the girls are sort of secondary to that, right?
Yeah. So it's sort of like you just want to upgrade your lifestyle a little bit, but carefully. Like I tell a lot of the guys who've made there's guys who've made quite a lot of like millions and millions of dollars from taking their courses and stuff, and like have retired and kind of their wives aren't working anymore, or now have moved out to Asia, or just moved down to Mexico or Colombia. There's a lot of like depending. It's just every person's different because money is an amplifier of who you are, right? So if you're an asshole when you didn't have money and you got money, you're more of an asshole. It's sort of like the whole steroids thing, like money is a steroid, right? And it's just just amplifies who you already are. But we tell guys to kind of chill out a little bit, like set yourself like a budget in the beginning, like give yourself money to spend, like give yourself like a good budget, but the budget is so you can kind of get used to having that money and also not kind of go crazy with these investments and stuff. Another thing too is like we tell people not to jump in too crazy into real estate just yet, because they may not know enough where like they'll just buy a bunch of bad real estate deals and lose their money and stuff like that. And two, you are right, is like you kind of do want to save some of the money there so you can throw it back into the thing. So it's sort of like what got you to the rodeo is gonna, you have to participate back in the rodeo. Like if you made your money from crypto, you want to save some money up to get back into crypto later on once it crashes, because that's what got you to the party and stuff. I see a lot of guys who just they make money from crypto, they leave it alone, and within 3 years they're broke again. And they're right back where they started, and I've seen this happen a lot. I mean, some buddies of mine, that's happened to them just because they just start partying. They take their eyes off the ball, and as a man, you got to stay productive or try to stay productive. And but everyone's different in terms of like the productivity that they want to produce. But it is sort of a mental thing where if you feel like you're productive, then you're having a really great life. But there's some people where like, they're only working 4 hours a day at most, and for them, they are being unproductive losers, and it spirals them into doing dumb things and drugs and stuff like that. It's kind of like idle hands, where another person is, they're working 4 hours a day, and they're like, oh my God, I've like Aaron Clary says, he's like, I've gotten my life to the point where I work about 4 hours and I'm able to have fun outside and do hikes and do all these other things. And for him, he's hit like this really cool, perfect level of like a work-life balance. Because I tell my guys all the time that you don't escape work as a man. There's a burden of performance, but you don't escape work. Everything will, like, humans are unhappy, unhappy things. Like, we basically work all our lives in order to get these kind of like these kind of like drug hits of like ecstasy or like happiness or like contentment for a while.
Yeah.
And then we go back to neutrality, to negative for the rest of it. And that's how we normally are, so these guys who are consistently chasing these kind of crazy high, these really unsustainable crazy highs, they ended up kind of burning themselves out. Or you will make everything in your life like you'll make everything in your life like a chore. So it's like, as an example, right? You make a bunch of money and everything like that, and you're not working anymore. You could be like, oh, I have to get out of bed today. God damn it. Oh, I gotta fucking wash clothes. Like, oh my God, I gotta open the door for the fucking maid today. Everything becomes, even if everything is on easy mode at that point, you have the money for everything. Everything will become a chore. And that's how humans are, just fucking like unhappy cunts. We just are. It's just the way it works.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing about it is you want to have purpose as well, right? I mean, it's like I was listening to actually an audio book. I mean, it's an obvious point, but I was listening. This came up in this audio book I was listening to the other day, and it's sort of like, people think, oh right, I'm going to get this FU money, and then I'm just going to leave my job and I'm going to sit on a beach for the rest of my life, and that's going to be it. But the problem is, then you've got no fucking focus, you've got no purpose, and I think that's why you see a lot of people who get money quickly. They just kind of go nuts because they just, you've got to have a reason to get up in the morning, really, and even if suddenly overnight all your financial problems are sorted, great. But then you've got to find something else to do, or you've got to find some sort of productive work, because otherwise life just becomes very meaningless, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a lot of that, and then too, that there comes this whole point too, where like everyone's like, and I know a lot of guys who can do this, but like I've seen a lot of guys who move out to Asia or move out to Mexico or Colombia or any of the other countries, Puerto Rico, and it lowers them. Like I have tons, like I'm pretty famous in my communities and stuff for like I call people island boys, right? I have a lot of my buddies and stuff. Like I've got a lot of my buddies who moved down to Puerto Rico for tax benefits, and they'll tell you,
I know a guy over there. Yeah, I know a guy over there because yeah.
You move over there, and within like you are 100% lazier. Like you're not going to be as productive as you think you are, because it happens. It's like you go over there, you're going to be really productive. You could be streaming. I've seen a lot of my buddies who moved down there that are streaming, and they're streaming 50% less. They're partying a lot more, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But there's this whole thing where like there is island time, and there is pros and cons to living in certain places. Like you live in a very high, like Brickell, right? Brickell's very expensive, but people are moving in Brickell, and people are getting a lot of shit done in Brickell. This, I think, one of the reasons why Fresh and Fit are so efficient down there as well, is like everyone down there is like are trying to go after it. It's kind of like it's kind of like New York during the 80s. It's that sort of thing. You're very Wall Street sort of like is sort of place for the social media content creators down there in Brickell, and Vegas is growing too. Like, but you go down to some cities and they're slow moving. It feels like you're on the ice. You're literally like frozen in ice, basically.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting point. I think location actually does play a big role, actually, in terms of because I've been to Puerto Rico, and it's kind of like you can chill, you can sit on the beach. There's a lot of partying there and stuff like that. It's not really, there isn't that kind of hustle culture there at all, is there? So I can definitely see that. After that, he says, sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead.
No, he just added another point. I assume clothes are maybe a decent location to live would be high up there. He's talking about, what would you spend money on to improve your dating life? I mean, yeah, location is important. So that could be something, if you look at where you live and stuff like that. But the other thing about money, and yeah, you could buy a nice suit, a couple of nice suits, whatever.
Yeah.
But the other thing about money as well is, and we actually often, if we get clients who are wealthy, and we often do actually get clients who, they've done well financially, we will always advise them not to lead with money, because if you lead with money, firstly, it looks a bit try hard. You look a bit try hard because you're like, hey, look at my Lambo outside, and it's a little bit sort of, it can look a bit cringe if you're not careful. And secondly, there is a possibility of attracting the wrong kind of woman if you go out with that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, 100%. 100%.
It's better to be kind of understated about it, I think. At least at the beginning.
Yeah, or like you have to see what you're attracting and stuff like that. There is like a whole big try hard part of it and stuff like that. I will say you do get pretty cool attention sometimes with the Lamborghini, but then it's like it's not always the attention you want as well, and it's like the main thing I would probably focus on and stuff like that. I mean, like, is when you get money, is just focus on health, or try to be more active and stuff, because you're going to be depending on what you're doing. Because I mean, this happened to me is like when I basically retired from doing a lot of like this blue collar businesses that I had. I mean, I started gaining a bunch of weight because I was sitting down in front of a computer all day instead of like being active. Like I went from like walking like 18,000, 25,000 steps a day, with my crews and stuff, to like sitting down in a computer, and you can become very unhealthy very quickly. So it's like your lifestyle can change dramatically depending on how you make your money and what you're doing. You have guys that are working all the time that they're now on the beach, not walking around, and all they're doing is drinking. you're gonna gain a ton of weight and stuff. So it's a big thing too, is like really taking care of your body, and especially if guys are older, maybe checking to see if they need TRT or not, or getting getting healthy and stuff, but maximizing the health side of it, because like you finally did get rich, or you're finally like in a position where like you have money and you're going to keep getting more money in the future because you're investing and you're in this growth spurt in terms of finances, that you want to take care of this meat wagon that you got for as long, so you can do the best stuff that you want to while you can.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you arguably you could say it all starts with that. Really, you could say, look, I mean, you should always prioritize your health, because you are the without your physical health, you're kind of fucked, aren't you? Whatever position you're in. So yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And obviously the thing is as well, if you've got more money, you've got more, not less. You might have more time to do some exercise, and you might be able to, I don't know, go to a better gym, get some better equipment or whatever, right? I mean, or get a personal trainer and stuff. So I think it's definitely something people should focus on. And then he says, Ben D says, I love these crossover episodes. It's like seeing your work friend and colleague friend at having a beer together. Absolutely, it is. Funny. It is. Yeah. Well, yeah. And then Max says, money's my big problem. I'm trying to gain women, but at the same time, I'm just a broke food delivery cyclist, age 33, living with a madman flatmate. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. What would you say to that? I mean, would you say
you're letting that limit you, but like at the same time too, I understand your position. You're 33, like I get it, you're trying to make it, and like the way you're going to make it is like, it's either you're going to start a business, either basically you're in a position where like, all right, if you're basically like Uber Eats right now, and that's what you're doing, you're going to have to like funnel all your fucking money, either get crazy saving money so you can start your own business or something that interests you to get your income up, or you funnel all the money into like, you're going to have to like risk it into crypto to start a portfolio in order to get, but either way, it doesn't matter. That money that you're going to put into crypto to multiply up is, you're going to have a nice little pot of money there. You can be lazy with that once you get it, but you're going to have to funnel that into a business to get you a better life. Because like, this is what happens a lot of the times too, and why I do a lot of consultations, is basically once you start getting a lot of this money, you can now, some people have very bad jobs and they make a couple $100,000 from crypto, and they're like, holy crap, I can now afford to quit my job, have some time off and figure out what I want to do. And that's one of the big things I help a lot of guys with, is kind of like figure out what they need to do, or just translate. Like, well, if you're already not making money, I mean, any job that just stresses you out less while making the same amount of money is, you're winning. And the big thing is kind of figuring out what you want to do and going towards that, and continue to make money.
Well, with, say, somebody like this who, let's say, we don't know if he's got savings, but let's say, his income is not very high. He's like, whatever. Would you still advise somebody like that to just start? So, okay, even if you can only afford to put a small amount into crypto, is it better to start rather than not start?
Yeah, start. People like this is like, they always shit on Americans for this. Like, the average American has less than $500 in their savings account. If a $1,000 emergency were to happen, like, this would spell bankruptcy and No, this isn't just a U.S. problem. This is a world problem. The average world citizen doesn't have $1,000 for an emergency, and if they do, I think Max does probably, but because he's a hardworking guy, but still, this is what ends up happening, is that you need to start. So I've said this, and this is so true. This bugged me out, because for the longest time, when I was younger, I couldn't save $2,000 to save my life. I kept, every time I would get to $2,000, an emergency would happen and I would lose my money. Like, oh no, a flat tire. Oh no, I need to replace a window. Oh no, I need to buy a new piece of equipment. Like, something would always happen. Like, oh, my buddies, like, we have to go out because we're not going to see. Like, all right, let's go. Something would always happen, and it wasn't until this was with equities, but I still relate this to crypto. Is like, I would put money into some equities, and I'd save some money up that way. And what would happen is, like, I would lose money, or I would just kind of break even for a while. And then when I look back, I'd have more money in stocks or in cryptos than I would have in my savings trying. Like, I would put like $20 a day, like, this is some math. Because I ran like a landscape and irrigation business for a long time. If you invest like $20 a day every day for a year, you'll save up $7,300. You can, and then this is the beautiful thing about like crypto, even stocks. I would say crypto just because you make more bang for your buck. Like, you ain't gonna make $7,000 in stocks ain't shit. You ain't gonna make money in stocks, brothers. Like, with $7,000, like, that's not happening. But you invest $7,000 into like one or two cryptos, like more blue chip, bigger cryptos, that could turn into 50, 40, $100,000 for you. That's not out of the realm of possibility. And then two, what happens is when you finally start seeing your money grow, you start working more hours. You start fucking putting more money away. And by the time you look at it, you didn't put $7,000 in. You've got $14,000, $15,000 that you scrimped and saved up. And then now that's grown into this huge opportunity where, like, you may have $70,000 to like $300,000.
Yeah.
And that becomes like, holy crap. I go from like, because like the average person around especially if you're doing Uber Eats, but I guess this guy's working hard, he's probably making $30,000, $40,000, $60,000 a year with tips and stuff. And, the average person's lucky if they're able to save 20% of their income. So that means, like, if you're making $60,000 a year, you'd be lucky if you're able to save $12,000 a year. So imagine that a guy would be that with the job, he's like hustling his butt. He's like saving 20% of his income. It'd take him 5 years to save up $60,000. But 1 year scrimping and saving and putting money into cryptos and then selling and taking profits, you would literally have 1 to 3 times your yearly income in savings now. And that would take you upwards of 15 years to save if you just kept making the same amount of money. And that puts you in this position where, like, holy crap, I now have $100,000. I can now, like, let me move somewhere else. Let me try not, let me take a fucking shot. And it's going to be risky, but Miguel, like, what happens, like, if I risk it in a business, you could lose it 100%, but what you're doing isn't working. You have to take risks. And this is something that, like, I'm pretty sure with James Tusk and you guys, you tell your guys all the time is like, you gotta take your shot. You gotta say hi to the girl. You gotta, like, everything. Life is risk. You have to risk, but with having that capital, gives you a little bit of like this, like, it's sort of like if a woman tells you no, who cares? I'll say hi to the next chick. It's the same sort of thing now, because this financial pillow you have here, you fall on your ass, you just try again. And you're going to succeed, because if you keep trying, you will succeed, because you're the type of person that will try. And that's the important part.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's good. That's great, man. I mean, that's fucking, kick up the butt everyone needs, I think, really. Which top 10 coin do you think will do best in the bull run? Solana?
Solana's going to be one that's going to do really well, especially if the ETF passes. Like my kind of bearish top for it, because it hit its all-time high is $250, $260. It's at $100 right now. I believe it's going to hit something like 12 to 1400 bucks. If we get the ETF passed and things go really crazy, it could go to like 2000 bucks. So, but that's already a very large crypto already, but that's a coin that I believe that can, like, you can make 10, 20 times on your money on it plus, which is really good. Pulse Chain, Hex, I think are ones that are going to do really well this cycle. Again, Richard Hart's fighting against the SEC. He's got a big lawyer team, 11 lawyers that a lot of them have previously worked for the SEC as their lawyers. So he's kind of fighting fire with fire there. So it's just the sort of thing where, like, those are some of the top crypto. Some of the ones I mentioned earlier in the stream about, like, Gala, AVAX, Alluvium, Shrapnel. These are coins that are going to do really well. Ethereum is going to perform really well as well. The ETF for Ethereum is starting to kind of translate over. I think once we have the Bitcoin halving, everyone's just going to be talking about when is the Ethereum ETF going to happen. So we're going to have a nice run in Ethereum. So there's still, like, a lot of things that you don't have to go that crazy in the risk spectrum in order to make some decent returns.
Good stuff. And then there's a couple of other bits here. So there's a lot of skepticism. So this dude is like unknown. Let's say this is real and not a 1 in a million case. Go straight to the point. What will be the starting point? Wallet apps, best cryptos to buy? Well, look, I mean, that's a huge question, and that's what his entire, but that's what their entire course teaches, right? So, he's not going to sit here now on this stream, and we've been on for an hour anyway. He's not going to sit here on the stream and just give away everything, because it would take ridiculously too long. And secondly, that's what he teaches on his channel, and that's what he teaches professionally. But I think one interesting thing about this is a couple of people have said, oh, it's a 1 in a million case. And then even our friend Max has said it is a 1 in a million case. People who make money on crypto, is those selling it for real cash? I don't know. Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, you can take profit and then, in fiat, and then you can spend that money. Yeah. But I don't know. There is this skepticism, though. I think some of these guys are sort of saying, oh, yeah, only 1 in a million people actually make real money from this. I mean, what would you say to that?
That's not true. I mean, I would say that was more of the case back in the day. So that those numbers kind of worked out back in like 2016, 2015, because the industry was tiny. We're talking about a few billion at most. Now, we're almost a $2 trillion market cap industry.
It's just not true that only 1 in a million people make money from crypto, isn't it? I mean, that's just not true. I mean, like loads of people, like if you had put money into Bitcoin, I don't know, last year, and now you'd be up, so you would have made money. So and
yeah, you tripled your money. You're like, if you kept dollar cost averaging, you're up 2 times on you're up at least 2 times on your money on Bitcoin. You're up double on Ethereum. You're up probably like 4 times on Solana. You're up like 2 times on, this is averaging, because you're buying the best prices, but you're also buying on the way up as well. So you kind of lower your X's down, but you're probably up 2 to 2.5 times on A. So everything you're like right now, everyone who's been buying in the last year has basically doubled their portfolio plus.
Yeah. And, so, yeah.
And that's real, and that's real money. That's real money. Real money.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. So, and Charlotte, good to see you, Charlotte. She's a regular. Is gold better than crypto?
I mean, for a financial asset, in order to try to make money, no. Gold, I think gold's really good to kind of keep its value over time. It's just something that's always going to have value. Great conductor for electricity and stuff, but gold has just not kept up at all. Like, I remember when I first got out of high school and stuff, I wanted to invest into gold, and it went to an all-time high of $2,000. It went back down, and now it's been my entire adult life. I'm 32 right now. It's been let's just say 12, 13 years since I turned into an adult and stuff, at 18, and gold's only it's barely back to where it was. So basically my entire adult life, it hasn't performed at all. You real estate, crypto, stocks, like that is all massively, massively outperformed gold. Gold has basically not kept up with inflation at all. It's lagged behind severely. So has silver. And I think still, like, I think it's still good to have a little bit of gold and silver, but this whole thing of like, you can't really, it's not really working as a speculative asset in order to try to gain yourself, to try to protect your wealth and stuff, because the powers that be printing gold and silver, paper gold and silver to such a massive amount that's to suppress the price of silver and gold.
What about just somewhere to put money that's supposed to be relatively safe? I mean,
Yeah, gold's perfect for that. Gold's perfect for that. Yeah, you can buy some gold. If you have some gold, you have some gold rings or a gold bar or a golden ounce, you can sell that anywhere in the world. It's true. But the same thing with crypto. Like, if I have my codes in my head, I can just download a new phone, put my passwords in, and I have my money in any country. So I can move millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars anywhere around the world. Like, I'll have nothing on me. Doesn't matter. Fly to new countries, set myself up, put my codes in, and I'm cooking. I'm cooking, pretty much.
Yeah, good to go. And then Max just says, look, maybe I'm being over skeptical. I don't know much about it. It's just there's a hell of a lot of negative exposed videos on crypto and Bitcoin on YouTube.
Yeah. And I can tell you why, because we just got out of a bear run. We just got out of bear market. So so now if anyone's talking shit about crypto, they're fucking idiots now. Idiots. So that's the thing, is like, when these channels start making videos that crypto is really good and I'm starting to look into crypto now. And I'm not talking about like smaller, I'm talking about big channels. They're the people that get all the normies and get all the people to start buying into crypto again, and they're buying at bad prices. You want to buy now. You want to be a contrarian. You want to buy when no one's buying. Like, I'm telling you, crypto's a decent time to buy now. That might not be the case a year from now. I might be like, hey, you're just going to be speculating. You're going to put money into these 3 coins. We're going to see if you can make some money real quick, move it out. It's more trading and more being short term versus, like, right now I'm investing for a year plus, and a year or two is a long time in crypto. That's the way. But Max has already, like, said it earlier and stuff, like, it is the sort of thing where Max, like, you have to start doing some stuff out of your comfort zone in order to get yourself out of the zone you're in, and this is respectfully, I'm saying this respectfully because I think you're gonna be able to change your life. Is like, you're 33, you're gonna have to take some risks, and you still have plenty of time, brother. Like, you have time to get out of it and stuff. Like, the thing is, like, you're on a channel like Troy Francis trying to better your life, and that's already put you in a place where, like, you're waking up from the matrix. You're waking up right now. You're taking the red pill, and you're going to escape the situation you're in because you're going for it. And that's what's really cool. Troy's a great teacher to help you out in that.
Yeah, thanks very much, man. No, absolutely. And this is all about self-improvement and just giving guys a better life, right? And, there's multiple strands to that. There's the self-improvement stuff, there's the dating stuff, but obviously where, Miguel and also Charlie come in is, teaching us about this crypto stuff, which, just has given huge opportunities to so many people. So, it's great stuff. And your course is coming out soon, isn't it? We're going to be doing another stream about that when it's over, but Crypto Mindset is coming up very soon, isn't it? Did you want to tell the guys anything about that before we finish?
Yeah. So it goes live January 26th, and it's only on sale for like 5 days. So basically from now until the February 1st. So you only have about 5 or 6 days to get in. And it's the whole thing is it's about $900 for the course. If you pay with crypto, it's like 15% off. So you get an extra $150 off if you pay in crypto. But it's the most comprehensive crypto course on the planet. We've been on operation almost 4 years, helped 14,000 people through our products and services in the Crypto Mindset course. And it's about a 3-week boot camp where we, for 2 days on, 2 days off, we do about 8 hours of recorded content. So it's like a 4-hour class in the morning, a 4-hour class at night, for 2 days in a row, and then a day off, and then back to it. And basically we teach you how to buy crypto, sell crypto, where to store it, how to move crypto around, what's DeFi, what are some of the top coins in the ecosystem, and everything in between, the vernacular, safe storage, the number one ways you could lose money in crypto and how to protect yourself. We basically make it so you can grow from a person that doesn't know anything about crypto to an intermediate. And we
Right.
are
Yeah.
I'm literally, I shit you not, we're the best on the planet. There is no second best. Like, we're the best. And
Yeah.
we've outlasted everybody, and we've been the longest running crypto education course in the planet.
Absolutely. You've made multiple guys millionaires as well, haven't you,
Yes.
through this process?
Yes,
So
yeah, quite a few and stuff like that. It's and this is kind of the beautiful thing, and the thing I'm most proud of is not the guys that made $1 million when they already had a lot of money. What I'm most proud of is guys who didn't start off with any money at all and were able to change their mindset to a point where, like, they're out there earning more money. They got a better job. Their business is growing. They're funneling money into this asset space, and they're able to now, they have so much more capital now that their business is bigger, their life is better. And, so a lot of, I'm really proud to say a lot of guys have, like, started families, which is really good. Shout to
yeah,
Art.
that's amazing, man. Well, listen, pleasure as always. Great to catch up. Great to have you on. We're going to be back on, as I say. It's in a week or so, isn't it? Probably.
Yeah.
We're going to be back on. We're going to be when the course is open. We'll talk more in depth about that, and hopefully Charlie's around as well. But yeah, until then, bro. Fantastic to catch up. And yeah, any final words, or are we good?
I mean, basically, if buy crypto or stay poor, basically.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there it is.
Good stuff. All right, many thanks, Miguel. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I'm actually going to be back on in a few minutes with James Tusk, because we're going to be doing a stream then. So if you're interested in the dating stuff, then you can hang around for that. But I'm going to end this now. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Look out for the launch of Crypto Mindset. It'll certainly be being trailed on this channel, and I'll have a link so you can buy it through that or join the course through that. And I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.